Sarah Thompson's alarm chimed at precisely 5:45 a.m., though she had been awake for the past 20 minutes, mentally rehearsing her presentation for the day's crucial meeting. The soft morning light filtered through her minimalist bedroom's curtains, highlighting the vision board above her desk, filled with property listings and her latest goal, youngest partner at Maxwell Realty. At 34, Sarah had built her reputation as one of Atlanta's most promising real estate agents through sheer determination and an uncanny ability to match clients with their perfect homes. Today's showing wasn't just another appointment. It was the Chen family's dream home, a $4.2 million estate that could become her biggest commission to date. Her morning routine flowed with practiced precision. She smoothed her pressed navy blazer, adjusted her pearl earrings, a graduation gift from her grandmother, and gave herself a final once-over in the mirror. Her natural hair was styled in a professional updo that had taken years to perfect, matching the polished image she had carefully crafted. Coffee, files, tablet, keys. Sarah muttered her daily checklist, grabbing her Italian leather briefcase, last year's reward to herself for making top producer. The kitchen counter held her saving grace, a smart coffee maker she had programmed the night before, filling her travel mug with the perfect blend of Colombian dark roast. As she maneuvered her Tesla Model 3 through Atlanta's awakening streets, Sarah pulled up the property details on her car's display through voice command. "The Chens will love the wine cellar," she smiled, remembering Mrs. Chen's passion for rare vintages. Every detail mattered in luxury real estate, and Sarah prided herself on remembering the small things that turned clients into lifelong referral sources. The morning traffic cooperated unusually well, putting her ahead of schedule. Sarah took advantage of the extra time to mentally walk through the property's selling points. The smart home features would appeal to Mr. Chen's tech background, while the guest house would be perfect for their visiting parents. Turning onto Peachtree Road, Sarah noticed how the rising sun painted the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks, reflecting off the sleek office buildings. The city was coming alive, with early morning joggers and business professionals starting their day. She allowed herself a moment of pride. This was her city, her territory, and today she would make her mark. The GPS indicated she was just 15 minutes from the property when flashing lights appeared in her rearview mirror. Sarah's heart skipped a beat, not out of fear but frustration. She was certain she'd followed every traffic rule, her Tesla's autopilot features helping maintain perfect speed and distance. Pulling over smoothly, Sarah reached for her registration and insurance cards before the officer approached. Her dashboard camera blinked steadily, recording everything as it always did, a habit she'd developed for all her drives between property showings. Through her side mirror, she watched the officer approach, his steps measured and deliberate. Sarah took a deep breath, reminding herself of the meditation techniques she'd learned in her morning wellness group. "Stay professional, stay calm," she whispered, glancing at her watch. She still had time to make the showing, assuming this went quickly. The Chens were flying in specifically to see this property, and Sarah Thompson had never let a client down. As the officer reached her window, Sarah couldn't know that this routine traffic stop would cascade into something far beyond a simple citation. Her perfectly planned morning was about to become the catalyst for a chain of events that would reshape not just her life, but an entire system. The county courthouse loomed before Sarah, its marble columns casting long shadows across the morning-warmed steps. 2 weeks had passed since the traffic stop, but her perfectly recorded dashcam footage gave her confidence. She straightened her charcoal gray suit, chosen specifically for its professional, understated appeal, and strode through the metal detectors with practiced ease. Courtroom 307 buzzed with quiet energy. Sarah observed the proceedings from her wooden bench, noting how Judge Robert Wilson handled each case before hers. Her realtor's instinct for reading people kicked in as she studied his mannerisms, the way he adjusted his wire-rimmed glasses, his habit of drumming his fingers when skeptical. Case number 2347. Sarah Thompson, the clerk announced, her voice echoing through the high-ceilinged room. Sarah approached the podium, tablet in hand, her heels clicking purposefully against the polished floor. "Your Honor, I have evidence that clearly shows I made a complete stop at the intersection of Maple and Fifth." She spoke with the same assured tone she used during million-dollar property negotiations. Judge Wilson peered down from his bench, his expression unreadable. "Ms. Thompson, are you suggesting the officer's account is incorrect?" "Not at all, Your Honor. I simply wish to present video evidence from my vehicle's dashboard camera." Sarah moved to pull up the footage on her tablet, but Wilson's raised hand stopped her. "This court isn't interested in amateur videos that could be edited," he declared, dismissing her evidence with a wave. "The officer's testimony is clear. Let's proceed with sentencing." Sarah felt her pulse quicken, but maintained her composure. Years of handling difficult contract negotiations had taught her to keep emotions in check. She watched as the judge reviewed her file, his eyes narrowing at details she couldn't see. "Previous citations?" he asked, though Sarah knew her record was clean. "None, Your Honor. This is my first ever traffic stop." She stood straighter, drawing on her years of professional presentation experience. The atmosphere in the courtroom shifted as Judge Wilson announced the fine. $500, plus court fees. A collective intake of breath from the gallery told Sarah this was unusual. She had spent the morning observing as others before her, with multiple previous citations, received standard $150 fines. "Your Honor," Sarah began, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I noticed that similar cases this morning received different penalties. May I ask about the discrepancy?" Judge Wilson's fingers drummed once on his desk. "Ms. Thompson, are you questioning this court's authority? That's exactly the kind of attitude that warrants stricter penalties. Fine stands at $500. Next case." As Sarah turned to leave, she caught the eye of a young law clerk who quickly looked away. But not before Sarah recognized the expression. She'd seen it countless times when property listings were priced well above market value. Something wasn't right here. In the courthouse hallway, Sarah overheard two attorneys discussing their cases. "Wilson's usually more reasonable," one muttered. "Standard fine is $150. Has been for years." Sarah pulled out her phone, opening her realtor's database app, not to check property listings, but to start a new kind of research. If there was a pattern here, she would find it. After all, analyzing data and spotting trends was what had made her successful in real estate. As she walked down the courthouse steps, Sarah's mind wasn't on the fine. Instead, she thought about patterns, fairness, and justice. The same analytical skills she used to spot property market trends could be applied here. This wasn't just about a traffic ticket anymore. It was about something much bigger. Her phone buzzed. A message from the Chens about another property viewing. Sarah smiled, knowing that even this setback wouldn't derail her professional success. If anything, it had awakened something new in her, a determination to uncover the truth. The aroma of freshly ground coffee beans filled Riverside Cafe, Sarah's favorite spot near the courthouse. She often met clients here, but today her open laptop displayed court records instead of property listings. Her untouched caramel latte grew cold as she pored over case numbers and fine amounts, her real estate analytical skills finding new purpose. "No way that sample size is large enough for statistical significance," a voice carried from the table behind her. "We need at least 3 years of data to prove anything." 5 would be better, another voice responded. "Professor Martinez won't accept anything less for the judicial analysis project." Sarah's ears perked up, her years of reading potential buyers' subtle cues, making her naturally attuned to valuable information. She turned slightly, spotting 2 young women surrounded by laptops and legal textbooks, their Georgia State University Law School hoodies marking them as students. "Excuse me," Sarah said, turning in her chair with the same warm smile she used at open houses. "I couldn't help overhearing about your judicial analysis project. I'm actually doing some research myself." The students introduced themselves as Maya Chen and Olivia Parker, third-year law students specializing in data analytics and judicial behavior. Sarah's genuine interest in their research methodology quickly turned the conversation from casual to collaborative. "You're tracking fine disparities." Maya's eyes lit up as she looked at Sarah's spreadsheet. "We've been developing an algorithm to analyze sentencing patterns. Want to see something interesting?" Olivia pulled up a database on her laptop. "We've been comparing judges across 3 counties. Look at this trend line for monetary penalties." She pointed to a graph showing escalating fine amounts over time. But the fascinating part is when you cross-reference it with demographic data. Sarah leaned in, her real estate market analysis experience helping her spot the patterns immediately. "These spikes," she pointed to several sharp increases. "They're not random, are they?" "Definitely not," Maya confirmed. "But we need more recent cases to prove it. The public records are backlogged by months." Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. "What if I told you I have a network of professionals who might have recent court experiences to share?" Her phone contained countless contacts from her real estate work. Other agents, mortgage brokers, property managers, all people who drove frequently for work. She pulled out her tablet, opening her meticulously organized contact database. "I can help you gather current data, and you can help me understand what it means legally. Would that interest you?" The students exchanged excited glances. "That would be amazing," Olivia said. "We've been struggling to find recent cases to analyze." For the next hour, the trio huddled over their devices, merging Sarah's real estate organizational skills with the students' legal analysis tools. They created a secure shared spreadsheet, designed a standardized data collection form, and drafted an outreach message that would encourage people to share their experiences. "This could be bigger than just one judge," Maya mused, showing Sarah how to properly document case numbers and outcomes. "If we do this right, it could reveal systemic patterns across the entire county." Sarah nodded, already mentally cataloging her extensive professional network. Her phone buzzed with a property listing notification, but for the first time in her career, real estate wasn't her primary focus. She had stumbled upon something that demanded her full attention. "Let's meet here again next week," Sarah suggested, her organizational skills kicking in. "I'll bring my first batch of data, and you can show me how to analyze it properly." As she packed up her laptop, Sarah felt energized in a way that even her biggest property deals couldn't match. She had found not just allies, but a way to transform her frustration into action. The skills she'd honed selling luxury properties were about to be repurposed for something far more valuable than any commission. Maria Rodriguez's corner office breathed success, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Atlanta's skyline. Sarah sat across from the renowned attorney, watching as she scrolled through the meticulously organized data on her tablet. 3 weeks of collaboration with Maya and Olivia had produced a compelling spreadsheet of court cases, fine amounts, and outcomes. "Your real estate background shows," Maria noted, her eyes scanning the color-coded patterns Sarah had implemented. "You've organized this exactly like a market analysis report. I've never seen legal data presented quite this way." Sarah straightened in her chair, recognizing the same appreciation for detail she valued in her own profession. "In real estate, we track market trends through multiple data points. I applied the same principle here, tracking fine amounts like property values and case outcomes like sale prices." Maria stood, moving to a sleek digital whiteboard that dominated one wall. With a few quick gestures, she transferred Sarah's spreadsheet data into a visual display. "Look at what happens when we layer in AI pattern recognition," she said, typing commands into her tablet. The screen came alive with new connections, drawing lines between cases that shared subtle similarities. "The AI isn't just finding obvious patterns," Maria explained, her voice carrying the excitement of discovery. "It's identifying connections we might have missed. Similar times of day, locations, even specific phrases used in the case documentation." Sarah leaned forward, her trained eyes spotting a familiar pattern. "That cluster there." She pointed to a group of interconnected cases. "They all happened within a 5-mile radius of my traffic stop." "Exactly," Maria nodded, pulling up additional details. And when we apply machine learning to analyze the language used in these court transcripts, we find something fascinating. She highlighted several text passages that glowed yellow on the screen. Certain phrases appear repeatedly, Sarah observed, her experience in contract negotiation helping her spot the linguistic patterns. Just like how specific terms in property listings can affect buyer perception. Maria smiled, recognizing a kindred analytical mind. These AI tools were originally developed for financial fraud detection, but we're repurposing them to analyze judicial behavior patterns. Your real estate data organization made this possible. It gave the AI clean, structured data to work with. They spent the next hour mapping out their strategy. Maria's legal expertise combined with Sarah's data organization skills created a powerful synergy. The attorney pulled up previous successful cases on her screen, showing how they could build an even stronger argument with their AI-enhanced analysis. We're not just presenting statistics, Maria explained, sketching out their approach. We're telling a story backed by irrefutable data. Your real estate experience in presenting property values and market trends to clients, that's exactly how we'll present this to the Judicial Review Board. Sarah's phone buzzed with a client notification, but for once, she let it go to voicemail. This project had become more than a personal quest for justice. It was evolving into a groundbreaking approach to legal analysis. We'll need to move quickly, Maria advised, pulling up a calendar. The AI will continue analyzing new cases as they come in, strengthening our pattern recognition. Meanwhile, we can start preparing the formal complaint. As they wrapped up the meeting, Maria paused, looking at Sarah with newfound respect. You know, when you first contacted me, I expected another routine discrimination case. But this, she gestured to the data-filled screen, this could change how we approach judicial oversight entirely. Walking out of the office tower, Sarah felt a familiar surge of energy. The same feeling she got when closing a perfect property deal. But this time, she wasn't just matching a buyer with their dream home. She was helping build something much more significant. A new way to ensure justice was truly blind. The notification sound on Sarah's phone wouldn't stop. She sat in her home office, watching in amazement as the view count on at Legalegal_Riley's TikTok video crossed 1 million. The young lawyer had broken down Sarah's case with remarkable clarity, using clever graphics and straightforward language to explain the AI-driven analysis. Let me show you something wild about the justice system. Riley's voice played from Sarah's phone. The creator, known for making legal concepts accessible, had transformed their complex data into compelling visual stories. When this real estate agent used her market analysis skills to examine court data, she uncovered something that will blow your mind. Sarah's email inbox filled with messages from journalists, legal professionals, and people sharing similar experiences. She handled each inquiry with the same professional grace she used with high-end property clients, carefully directing media requests to Maria's office and documenting every new case that matched their pattern. Your segment airs in 5 minutes, texted Maria. Sarah turned on the local news, where they had given an exclusive first interview. She watched herself on screen, poised and articulate, explaining how her real estate analytics background helped uncover the pattern. I approached it like I would a market analysis, her recorded self explained. In real estate, we look for patterns in property values, market trends, and buyer behavior. I applied those same principles to analyze court records. The station cut to Maria, who expertly explained the legal implications without revealing their full strategy. They had agreed to share just enough to raise awareness, while keeping their groundbreaking AI analysis under wraps for the courtroom. Sarah's phone lit up with a call from Maya and Olivia. We're trending on Twitter, Maya exclaimed. Law students across the country are requesting access to our data collection methods. Professor Martinez wants to integrate our approach into next semester's curriculum. The media attention brought unexpected allies. Legal tech companies offered access to advanced analytics tools. Data scientists reached out to help refine their AI models. Even retired court clerks came forward with historical records that could strengthen their case. But Sarah's proudest moment came from an unexpected source. The real estate community rallied behind her. The state's top brokers association issued a statement supporting her investigation, noting how industry professionals often faced similar experiences in their daily work. "Your analytical skills have always been exceptional," her broker texted. "Never thought you'd use them to reform the justice system, but I'm not surprised you're the one who figured it out." The support wasn't universal. Some online commenters questioned her motives, suggesting this was a publicity stunt for her real estate career. Sarah maintained her composure, remembering how she handled difficult property negotiations. "We don't need to respond to every critic," Maria advised during their daily strategy call. "The data speaks for itself. Let's focus on those coming forward with new cases that fit our pattern." Their shared digital folder grew hourly with new submissions. Sarah had created a systematic way to verify and categorize each case, drawing on her experience organizing property listings and client databases. Late that evening, as the social media storm continued to build, Sarah received an unexpected email. A national civil rights organization wanted to feature her methodology as a template for similar investigations across the country. "Your real estate market analysis approach to judicial oversight is revolutionary," the email read. "Would you consider developing a training program?" Sarah smiled, thinking how her grandmother's advice to learn every aspect of your business had led her down this unexpected path. Her attention to detail in real estate had prepared her for something far bigger than property sales. As she drafted her response, a notification popped up. Another 1,000 shares of their story. The momentum was building, but Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The real challenge would come in the courtroom, where their innovative approach would face its ultimate test. The conference room at Rodriguez Legal buzzed with focused energy as Sarah arranged her presentation materials with the same precision she used for luxury home showings. 3 months of preparation had led to this moment. On the polished mahogany table, 6 tablets displayed their interactive data visualization, their strongest weapon in tomorrow's preliminary hearing. Their motion to dismiss cites precedent from 1983, Maria said, pacing near the floor-to-ceiling windows. "But our AI analysis shows why that case law doesn't apply." She gestured to the digital display where their latest data pulsed with promising patterns. Sarah nodded, pulling up a new set of graphics. "I organized our findings like a real estate market report. See how the fine disparities create a clear trend line." She traced her finger along the ascending graph. "It's similar to how we track property value fluctuations, but here we're tracking judicial decisions." The door opened as Maya and Olivia hurried in, their law school IDs still swinging from their necks. "We've finished cross-referencing the last batch of cases," Maya announced, sending a file to the main screen. "The AI found 3 more matching patterns just this morning." Sarah watched as the new data points integrated seamlessly into their presentation. Her years of experience presenting property analytics to skeptical investors had taught her the power of clear, compelling data visualization. "Each case strengthens our position," she noted, adjusting the color coding to highlight the most significant patterns. Judge Wilson's team filed their response. Maria's assistant interrupted, hurrying in with a tablet. "They're challenging our data collection methods." Maria smiled, the kind of confident smile Sarah recognized from her own biggest property negotiations. "We expected that. Show them Section 4, Sarah." Sarah swiped through their presentation to reveal a detailed methodology breakdown. "We applied the same statistical rigor used in federal housing market analysis. Every data point is verified through multiple sources, just like property valuations." The team worked late into the evening, refining their strategy. Sarah's phone occasionally buzzed with real estate notifications, but her focus remained unwavering. This case had become more important than any property deal. "Their key argument will be that these are isolated incidents," Maria explained, reviewing their counter-arguments. "But our AI analysis shows the pattern," Sarah finished, pulling up her favorite visualization. Just like in real estate, when you see the same price variations in multiple neighborhoods, it's not coincidence, it's systematic. As midnight approached, they received an unexpected email. Judge Wilson's team was requesting a meeting before the hearing. Maria read the message aloud, her expression thoughtful. "They're worried," Olivia observed, her legal training showing. "Our data is too strong." "It's like when a seller realizes their property is undervalued," Sarah added. "They want to negotiate before the market forces their hand." Maria shook her head. "We've come too far for settlements. This isn't just about one case anymore." She turned to Sarah. "Are you ready for tomorrow? All eyes will be on us." Sarah stood, smoothing her blazer, the same one she wore for million-dollar closings. In real estate, I learned that the strongest position comes from absolute preparation and irrefutable data. We have both. As the team gathered their materials, Sarah took one last look at their presentation. What had started as a simple traffic fine had evolved into something revolutionary. The merger of real estate analytics, artificial intelligence, and legal strategy. "One more thing," Maria said as they prepared to leave. "Sarah, you're not just a witness anymore. You're a pioneer. Tomorrow, we show them how your real estate analysis skills cracked open something they've been missing for years." Sarah nodded, feeling the familiar pre-showing excitement she knew from real estate, but amplified. Tomorrow wasn't about selling a property. It was about selling justice, backed by data that couldn't be ignored. The courthouse archives smelled of old paper and history. Jessica Lynn, a first-year clerk with tired eyes and determination in her step, had spent her lunch breaks here for weeks. Today was different. She'd finally found something in a dusty box of records from 2019. "Miss Thompson." Jessica's voice trembled as she called Sarah. "I found something you need to see. Can you come to the courthouse basement?" Sarah arrived 20 minutes later, having excused herself from a property showing. She found Jessica at a metal table beneath flickering fluorescent lights, surrounded by stacks of manila folders. "Look at this." Jessica pushed forward a spreadsheet, her hands shaking slightly. "It's Judge Wilson's original fine tracking system before they switched to digital records." Sarah's trained eye, accustomed to scanning property documents for hidden details, moved across the numbers. "These columns," she pointed, her real estate analysis skills kicking in. "They're using different calculation methods for different categories of defendants." "Exactly," Jessica nodded. "But look at the formula key at the bottom." Sarah's breath caught. There, in faded ink, was a handwritten notation system that explicitly outlined different fine multipliers. The evidence they'd been searching for had been sitting in a basement all along. Within an hour, Maria's office transformed into a war room. The document lay carefully scanned and displayed on multiple screens as the team analyzed every detail. Maya and Olivia input the historical data into their AI system, watching as new patterns emerge. "The AI confirms it," Maya announced, pointing to a new series of graphs. "These multipliers perfectly match the patterns we found in current cases. It's the missing link." Maria paced the room, her legal mind working through implications. This isn't just about traffic fines anymore. This spreadsheet proves intentional systematic bias in sentencing calculations. Sarah studied the document with the same intensity she used for property contracts. "Look at these date stamps," she noted. "They span 3 years. We can track exactly when and how the practice evolved." The team worked through the night. Sarah's real estate experience in documenting property histories proved invaluable as they built a timeline. Each entry told part of a story that could no longer be ignored. "There's something else," Jessica said quietly, pulling out another folder. "I found draft copies of internal memos. They show concerns raised by other clerks, but they were all dismissed." Maria's eyes lit up. "This changes our entire strategy. Sarah, remember how you track property value changes over time? We need to apply that same analysis here. Show how these practices became normalized." Sarah nodded, already adapting her real estate tracking methods to this new purpose. She created a timeline that any judge could understand, mapping the evolution of the fine system like she would track neighborhood development trends. As dawn approached, Jessica revealed one final discovery. These initialed notes in the margins. They matched signatures from quarterly review meetings. Multiple people knew about this system. The implications hung heavy in the air. This wasn't just about one judge anymore. It was about an entire system that had allowed these practices to continue. Sarah's phone buzzed with a client reminder, but for once, real estate could wait. She looked at their assembled evidence, the AI analysis, the historical records, the handwritten notes, all telling a story that needed to be heard. "Miss Thompson," Jessica spoke up. "Thank you for pursuing this. I've worked here for 18 months, seeing things that didn't seem right, but not knowing what to do." Sarah smiled warmly, remembering her own journey from frustrated citizen to accidental reformer. "Sometimes the most important transactions aren't about property or money," she said. "They're about doing what's right." Maria gathered the team. "Tomorrow, we present everything. The historical evidence validates our AI analysis perfectly. They can't dismiss this anymore." The morning sun began to peek through the office windows, illuminating their work. What had started as a simple traffic fine had uncovered decades of hidden practices. Now, armed with undeniable evidence, they were ready to force change. The state Supreme Court chamber hushed as Sarah took the stand. Sunlight streamed through tall windows, illuminating the polished wood and marble surfaces. She felt the weight of hundreds of eyes upon her, but her years of presenting luxury properties to demanding clients had prepared her for this moment. "Please describe how you discovered these patterns," Chief Justice Martinez requested, her keen eyes studying Sarah. "As a real estate agent, I analyze market trends daily," Sarah began, her voice clear and confident. "When I noticed disparities in traffic fines, I applied the same analytical methods we use to track property values." She gestured to the interactive display where their evidence glowed in compelling clarity. Maria stepped forward, orchestrating their presentation with the precision of a symphony conductor. "The AI analysis confirms what Ms. Thompson's initial investigation revealed," she explained, as dynamic visualizations illustrated the patterns. "But the historical documents discovered by Clerk Lynn provide irrefutable proof of intent." The justices leaned forward as Jessica's discoveries appeared on screen. Sarah watched their expressions shift from skepticism to concern as years of documented bias came into sharp focus. "This methodology," Justice Chen interjected, "combining real estate analytics with legal data, it's unprecedented." "Innovation often comes from unexpected places, Your Honor," Sarah responded. "In real estate, we say every property tells a story. Here, every case tells part of a larger narrative that needed to be heard." The hearing continued for hours. Maya and Olivia presented their statistical analysis, their law school project now transformed into groundbreaking legal evidence. Judge Wilson's defense team tried to challenge their methodology, but the combination of historical records and AI analysis proved unshakable. As the final arguments concluded, Chief Justice Martinez spoke. "This court has seen something extraordinary today, not just evidence of concerning practices, but a new way to identify and address systemic issues. Ms. Thompson, your willingness to apply your professional expertise to civic justice is commendable." The ruling came swiftly. The court ordered a complete review of all cases from Judge Wilson's court, with automatic adjustments for those impacted by biased fines. But they went further, mandating the implementation of Sarah and Maria's analytical methods across the state's judicial system. Outside the courthouse, beneath the Georgia sun, Sarah found herself surrounded by reporters. "What's next?" they asked. "Change," she answered simply. "Real change." She announced the creation of the Fair Justice Initiative, a nonprofit organization that would provide their analytical tools and methods to legal teams nationwide. That evening, Sarah sat in her office, looking out over the Atlanta skyline. Her phone buzzed with congratulatory messages from fellow realtors, clients, and supporters. But one message stood out, An email from a national judicial reform organization requesting her help in developing training programs. Your real estate background brought a fresh perspective we desperately needed. The email read, "Would you consider sharing your methodology with other states?" Maria appeared in her doorway, holding a newspaper with their story on the front page. "Ready to revolutionize another system?" she asked with a smile. Sarah looked at her real estate awards on the wall, then at the court documents on her desk. "You know what we say in real estate. The right property finds the right buyer at the right time." She stood, smoothing her blazer. Maybe this was the right time for justice to find a new approach. Her computer pinged with a new case notification, another jurisdiction requesting their help. Sarah smiled, thinking how her grandmother's insistence on learning every aspect of her business had led her here. She hadn't just sold properties. She'd learned to analyze patterns, understand systems, and now change them. Outside her window, the sunset painted Atlanta in shades of possibility. Tomorrow, she had 3 property showings scheduled. But now she had something else too, a new purpose that transformed her professional skills into tools for change. The right skills had found the right cause at the right time, and this was just the beginning.